Welcome. I managed to fix most of the things tonight. I don't know, I'm going to have to reset that counter as well back to 0 days as well, 0 weeks without remembering to turn the sound on. But the problem I've got tonight is, yes, the gremlins are back. Basically anything I try and do with Google Chrome is not really responding at the moment. It's been a little bit slow today, and I have absolutely no idea why. This happened a few weeks ago, as you would remember, and the stream is going kind of all right, but and the computer's going kind of all right until I fire up Chrome, and then everything just slows down. So I've been madly poking Task Manager. I've been madly tweaking things and pushing buttons, and yeah, I just haven't been able to get it right. And as you can probably see now, and I can see on my monitor, things are dying a little bit because whenever I try and load anything else up, it just freaking dies. Yeah, not sure what to do. I'm going to continue to try and fix it for a little while. If you want a little bit of old man stares at computer, I had a lot of stuff set up and ready to go, but Chrome just doesn't want to seem to play the game. No idea why all of a sudden it wants to use up such a ridiculous amount of memory, and this has been a documented problem with Chrome. Just from time to time it will decide that it just wants to hog all of your resources, and then a bunch of other things will come up as well that want to hog all of your resources as well. Like, why do we even need Microsoft Teams running in the background here, people? Like, seriously. So let's see what happens. I did drop my mouse earlier, so I don't know. Maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe I'm overloading it because something just clicked then. So maybe I've been holding the mouse button down the whole entire time. We shall see what happens. Because what I wanted to do was share one of the van couples videos, and I also wanted to get them on board. I've been watering the plant every week, but it's getting hotter now. I think that plant's had its use by date. Okay, so that could very well have been a problem with my dropped mouse. Maybe that was the problem. We'll keep trying, as we do. That's what I do. And yeah, Dan and I talked about a bunch of videos that we were going to show. I'm starting to get a little way there. It's starting to open up a little bit. Don't stress too much. I don't think I'll even be able to get you guys on because Chrome is still being a thing for some reason. Yep. Yeah, no, Chrome's not going to happen tonight. Yeah, slowing everything down. So, welcome aboard to everybody, to all the usual, and welcome aboard to all the other people who are here to witness the complete breakdown of order and any semblance of professionalism here on Outdoors Type, because that's pretty much what happens here in the live stream. So thanks, Steve Klink, for coming on board. JK, come hither with Heather. Ree, bro, thanks. Van Couple, Dan and Amber as well. Please go and check out their channel. They're nearly at 100 subscribers, and they are going great guns at the moment. I wanted to show you a video of theirs of the development of their layout, but computer is saying no. G'day, Robbo. Welcome aboard, Lyle. G'day, Noel. Welcome aboard. G'day, Nico. Thanks for coming on board. And g'day, Andy Munro. Welcome aboard. And Drew, thanks for coming on board. I'm sure you'll understand the utter chaos that is live streaming. Let's see whether or not, though, it'll play a video. Let's see if we can get it to at least do that. So we've got that one queued up. G'day, Brian. Welcome aboard. Let's see what happens, whether it'll play the queued video. You guys know that I did that Bridges compilation, and my wife loves these Bridges compilations, just like many of you do. So I thought I'd go back to the first original Bridges compilation, and I'll let that play, if it'll play, while I do a bit more old man staring at screen. Probably 3 years ago, back with YouTube Music Library and the old Mavic Mini, the original Mavic Mini. Somewhere, folks. Yeah, that's Hamley Bridge, Heather. Yep. You'll note these days that I've actually started labelling everything as well. Yeah. Only fair. Yeah, Andy, I got to the end of all my road trip videos, and Vanessa was like, "Oh, you got to make me one of those Bridges videos." Hey, I love those videos. So I'm like, all right, I'll have to make a video then. go back and do this line in the way I would do it these days. That was at Farrell Flat, Andy. Thanks, Drew. Okay, we are back up and running, friends. Drop in if you like, Van Couple. I just sent the link there further up in the chat. Let me know if you need me to send it again. Hey, John. G'day, Kingsley. How you going? Everything's plugged in. It appears I had a cluster FK of issues. One of them was my mouse, which I dropped earlier, and a button was stuck, so we sorted that out. Next was basically on 10% battery, so I sorted that out and got the charger in. I think this computer, when it drops below a certain level of charge, the GPU or whatever must stop working and it shuts all that down to conserve power. Okay, well. I had a lot of fun making that video. That certainly took a lot longer and a lot more trips than a video like that would do these days, but these kind of things do really kind of inspire me. Should I do another one while I kind of continue to get my shit together and double check everything? So we were going to do that on the show, and all my usual stuff that I do at the front is kind of just blown up now, at any rate. But the one thing I do want to go back to is to the members. Another new member this week, Andrew Top 351, I think. Thank you for joining, and welcome to all the members who are on the live stream tonight. It's great to have you on board. And Andy as well, man. Your channel is just... still love the way you do Instagram and Reels. It's been a real inspiration to me, and I have been leaning into the Reels, into Facebook and Instagram. I've decided that it's time to dive back into that, and if you want to get good at Reels, like Andy Munro is good at Reels, then you need to make a lot of Reels, and so I've resolved to do that, and you'll see things happening over on my Facebook as well. I did have a talk on at the National Railway Museum earlier this year, Drew. Funnily, you should say that, and I don't know whether I should plan another one. There was 6 people there, including Lyle Roberts. Robbo, thank you, man. You're a bloody legend. Michael Robinson was there as well, and a few other heads from the National Railway Museum. But I'm not quite sure that the audience is ready to come into the real world yet. That kind of demonstrated it wasn't for lack of promoting it or anything, and perhaps I would do things differently if I was to do it again. Perhaps I might even do it in conjunction with other creators, for example, maybe Kane's Trains or some of the others. There's an idea brewing there where perhaps we have an event where multiple people who make railway related content might want to come down and talk about their work. That might be a bit more interesting. So um, I think you can have different backgrounds in the chat, Noel. I'm not often on my own Video Ninja live stream, so I don't get a chance to test it out. I do get my wife to test it from time to time, but I must admit I haven't tested that. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can do a digital background, so yeah, have a try, have a play around. That's what good chats is all about, right? I got attacked last week again for being so damn unprofessional. But anyway, water off a duck's back and moving on. That's just what it's all about. Yeah, and Andy's been working really hard at Instagram. I've been ploughing a bit more content back into Instagram, but I just can't seem to make the needle move on Instagram anymore. It's stuck where it's at. So, but I figure that's probably because I do need to really nail the Reels thing. And what I also need to nail is being able to create content for Meta and content for YouTube. Simply posting, which I'm guilty of a lot, simply posting the same thing on three channels generally. It's better than not posting it on all three channels, but each channel wants its own content and it can tell what you're doing, and I think that's what's happening with Instagram. I'm gaining a huge audience on Facebook. It's ridiculous actually what's been happening the past few days on Facebook. In terms of followers, but Instagram, interestingly enough, the needle has just stayed exactly where it was a couple of weeks ago. And so, yeah, Drew, that is the thing. As much as we want these audiences to be the same, sometimes they're different, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. I wanted to talk about that because some of y'all may know that I have studied all this and done it for a job for several years. And I just decided again a couple of weeks ago, I thought, bugger it, I am just going to lean right into this. I have enough content now. And I think something clicked where I've figured out a format where I can remediate and reuse the content that I've already made in a different way and present it to a similar but different audience on YouTube. I know, Heather, I know we don't have time. And I think most people who operate across platforms will tell you that it's really difficult to operate on more than one platform at a time. So you decide which way you want to do. If you're going to do a reel, then you want to post it to Instagram. Here we go, Mike's social media sermon. You post it to Instagram, right, and then that'll flow through to Facebook. Good, no worries at all. But if you want to schedule that one, then not happening. You need to either pick one or the other. So there's all these little vagaries and interesting issues, and whether or not you're doing it from mobile or doing it from your desktop, for example. There's certain ways to add popular music to Reels that you can do in Meta Business Suite. Then there's other ways you can do it through the Meta Business Suite app, and it's all different again with YouTube, for example. There's no way to upload a short and use popular music on a desktop on YouTube, but if you then copy that video over to your phone and then upload it from your phone on the YouTube app, you'll then get access to the minutes worth of popular music. And popular music is actually really, really important. There's a couple of shorts that I've done that have been far more popular than the others, purely because of the music. The ridiculously popular post that I did on June E, like, to be honest, it's a bit of an average post, but it uses Slim Dusty's music, and I can tell that probably 19,000 out of the 20,000 people that viewed it pretty much viewed it just for Slim Dusty's music. My images are just kind of secondary to what's happening. So has anyone got any questions for me as well? Andy's always in with the good questions as well. I get recognised, obviously, down at the National Railway Museum, but not at the point yet where people are asking for my autograph. But that would be nice, wouldn't it? Did I just say autograph? What? I don't know. It's a bit like my videos when I'm narrating something and you just start a sentence knowing where you're going to go, and halfway through the sentence you forget where you were headed. All right. So yeah, I was going to talk about what's coming up and looking ahead. The Mount Gambier trip coming up. I'm going to do the Glencoe line and go have a look around Glencoe in early January. As always, there's an open invite to join the panel. I'll check that out in just a sec. Excuse me. Then I'm going to have the Van couple. I'm going to talk to them about their channel. Then we're going to look at a video that they wanted to share with us as well. Yep. Deliberately use Slim Dusty for that reel, Jeremy, just to test the theory again. And like the post that I did today as well, I did that to test how a single image post would go, because I know for a fact that multi-image posts and reels perform far better than single image posts. But every now and then I'll just do a single image post just to keep testing the algorithm. Yeah, I know, right, Andy? But it's the one bit of old railway line down in the southeast that I haven't tracked yet, and I've been determined to get that off my list so that I'm just that little bit closer to having tracked all of the railway lines in South Australia. Then I was going to do a slideshow because I have been sourcing more images around Port Adelaide and all the railway lines and all the wharves and whatnot. I was going to look back at the old compilations, which we've already done. And then I was going to talk some stuff about Facebook and why I don't like bloody Facebook. We'll see if we get to that at any rate. So I'm just going to set all of this other stuff up. So let's just shut down the Word doc. Let's go into Video Ninja. Oh, hello. I can see people there in Video Ninja. You're on the side. You're at a right angle, guys. Let me see if I can fix that here. But it would just be easier if you just turned. There you go. Okay, let me see if I can hear you. I got my headphones on now, and you guys should be hearing me, Dan. Are you there? Yeah, I got you, man. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's bring this into the live stream. Clicking buttons. Should we do it as the panel? Because then we can look at your videos at the same time. And then I'll put you in there. Control audio via OBS. And I'll put me in here. Not going to need another webcam. I'll just put myself down there. And we'll go over there. Panel chat video is going to be... No, I need a browser source. Rightio. Oh, look. There's Dan in the corner of the screen. Let me see if I can just work my stuff out to get myself on there too. Panel. Where's the webcam? There we go. Right. We're getting there bit by bit. And I have to add a browser to that. And actually not a browser, screen cap. Delete that. And get a screen cap going on. So, Dan, Penny's Hill, yes. Man. Talk to us about Penny's Hill while I set this stuff up.
Well, it started 3 years ago. We got a bit of a special deal on some track and whipped it together and called it Penny's Hill. And 3 years later, we've got some progress down and we've got a lot of feedback from a few friends saying we've done a really good job. So now we've entered it into the big show. So we'll see how we go.
Which show's that?
It's the one at the Greyhound track in June.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Is the sound coming through good for everyone? Is Dan coming through fine? Am I coming through fine? Love to hear your feedback. Now, where have I got the window capture? There we go. We'll put that in there. Oh, it's huge. We'll sort that out. Good, excellent, thanks. Sound's coming through cool too. Now, here we go.
You got it.
There we go. Oh yeah, I got it. All right, let's do this. So here is the progression of Penny's Hill. Far out, I managed to make that work.
Some of the early shots in this one. The playing sound?
Yeah, I just turned it down. I don't know. Probably got sound issues with that too.
Well, it's playing, so it's working.
Yeah, it just doesn't get any output for it. Let's try that.
But yeah, go check out our channel, please, folks. We're trying to get a few more subscribers. The young lads like to Santa Claus here the other day. Oh, I wish I had 100 subscribers.
He will get there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I told he's got to be patient. Good things will come.
Yeah, I got the sound to work now.
Yeah, got a bit of feedback then.
Yeah, you should be using headphones ideally.
I know you have mentioned this to me before, but I do have them. But
yeah,
when the kids start playing with them, they get lost or broken.
Yeah, I get it.
Hot down your way?
32 degrees.
Nice and warm.
That's like insane.
Yeah, I know, I'm melting.
Yeah, I saw your live stream the other day, Heather, too, working out the sound with Drew. Yeah, it takes some skills, that's for sure. But I'm glad this time that we're not getting the completely outrageous feedback. I think Video Ninja and OBS kind of, getting a little bit better, because if participants didn't have headphones 12 months ago, we wouldn't be able to hear anything, and I wouldn't have anybody left on the live stream. So it's kind of working out now.
Which we got from the train girl. These are really
so here we go, the Van Couples at 94 subscribers.
Yep.
And this has only got 49 views, so get on it, peeps.
Please. It'll keep the kids happy. Thanks for sharing that though, Mike. I appreciate it, mate. I know you do a bit of shout outing to people and anything for you to share, so thank you.
No, I've been that's what I've always wanted, is to be able to share people's stuff. And obviously I need their permission to do it. I want to do it as a, lift the whole community, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you've been a big inspiration, like I've mentioned to you before. You've been a big inspiration to us, so again, thank you.
And I'll pass that on down and say to Heather again, she was the one who inspired me to get started with this live streaming palaver, and look where we are today, 3 years later, and I still haven't friggin' got it right.
Hey, you're doing all right, mate. You're doing all right. Excellent.
Hopefully we've got the sound working now, so I'm going to turn up your YouTube sound for a bit while we watch the rest of this video.
And then up here we got a jogger running down Penny's Hill. And then over here, this is my favourite part.
I haven't got any ducking on this.
Oh, mate, from Outdoors Type, doing the next episode to his YouTube channel. Go check him out. And over here, we got a little grommet doing some graffiti. And then down here, we got a couple just hanging out on their punch bug beetle. And we got old mate down here checking on his farm.
Again.
So that's about it from the people.
So as you guys
That's
know,
cool.
we love our trees, but this time we didn't
Oh,
get
that's
more
cool. Thanks for
pine.
sharing that, man.
We've
No, I
got
hope you don't mind
some
us watching
gum
the rest of it.
trees.
I just love the
So we've
aesthetic of
added
this
one
layout,
here
man.
next to the engine
Yeah,
shed,
yeah,
and
it's
then we've
cool,
got
isn't
our
it? You know,
daisies. We
a lot
love
of it's
them so
scratch
much.
built too. Like a lot of
We've added
things,
another
like the
one
organic matter. There's a
next to
lot
the
of
tunnel
moss and
here.
stuff from the garden.
We've
Like,
also got
you know, we're not
some
big spenders. Like we
over
have
on this
like
side
bought
as
some
well.
trees and a
They may
few
look like they're
locomotives
hiding
and
in the
gone
corner,
and
but they
spent big money
definitely
on that
add
stuff.
extra
But
detail.
most of the
So
foliage
this
and
one in
trees,
the
even some
back is our
bushes and that,
biggest
are all
one.
out of the
It's an
garden. You know what I
antique
mean?
tree, and we
Yep.
do love it.
Yep.
And we also grabbed some tall boy grass
And I guess
clippings.
that's what makes it
So they
different from
make
all other
our
layouts, because I
layout
go
look
to
a lot more
quite a
showy
few
and add
events and
extra
see what people
detail, which
use, and
we love.
it's interesting to know that not many people use organic stuff. I mean, they do, but yeah.
Yep.
But I had one of these cars when I was young.
Yeah, and you haven't tried to overdo it. You haven't tried to make it some fictional British wonderland. You know, it's reflecting the area that we live in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did have a lot of American locos, but now that we've brought Australian locos and we happen to buy South Australian locos, it's just brought it a bit closer to home, being that there's a winery, Penny's Hill Winery down the road as well. So we just call it Penny's Hill.
Yep.
So, you know, the daughter's name, Penelope. So, you know, just it matches, it goes together. It's her layout. She can do what she likes with it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's hers.
And there's a bakery.
Yep. We tried to put a sign on there. We tried to change it a little bit, but I couldn't get too creative. It didn't look too good, so we just put the bakery on there for now. But we were going to name it Pick a Pie.
Yeah, to all the subscribers out there that have hit the subscribe button, we wouldn't have been able to do it. We wouldn't have been able
Golden.
to get this far if it wasn't for
That
you
was
guys.
the
So
Father's
thank you,
Day video.
and give us a share, and we'll see
Awesome.
you on the road
Yeah.
to nowhere.
Radical.
All right. Let me see if I can get this other little window going here. So we go, yeah. Put that in there. Oh, that didn't work. I'm trying to fit you in a different window now, Dan, so we can just sort out. You can help me test what I'd like to do with panel chats, if that's all right. I'm just going to try and set this up in properly in OBS, where rather than having two guests, I would have just me and another person. Put that in there. And there we go. All right.
All right.
Let's see if that has worked. I've got a good delay actually too. The internet's come good. I'm only 7 seconds behind. How are you going with hearing me talking? Are you watching me through the video link that I sent you, or are you watching the live stream?
Video link. Yeah.
Yeah, good. So that's coming through in real time.
Yep.
Which is why we can speak like normal people and not like we're on an international phone call or something.
Yep. It's definitely a lot sharper, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, this is great. So, I think finally, after all this time, I might have got that right. Hey, Jason, welcome aboard, man. And he's just joined the Van couple as well. So, to you.
Thank you.
Actually, I think you might even be at 100 by the end of this live stream.
Did you hear that, Archer? He's getting all excited. He's sitting here quietly, eh?
The brainchild behind the YouTube channel, who we can't show on television. Look, thanks for coming on board, guys. Stick around for the rest of the live stream. We'll see how much longer this lasts. I think we'll go into a bit of a slideshow now of the old images that I've collected from the public domain on the Port Adelaide, the lines around Port Adelaide.
Cool.
See you next
We'll
time.
be staying on. Thank you. Thanks for having us,
man.
Peace out, man. Bye-bye.
Cool. Here we are. Right. Is there anybody else lurking in the control room? No, there's nobody else lurking in the control room. Right, what was I going to do for the rest of the live stream? The slideshow. Let's do that. And maybe while I'm doing that, I'll talk about some thoughts about what's happening with YouTube at the moment. Oh, that's a bit loud. I did want a bit of background music, but not overpowering background music. So here's the part of the show which I think everyone likes. I don't know too. Let me know which parts of the show that you like and which parts you miss as well. I know O'Malley loves the magic window, so I've worked hard on that magic window, O'Malley, for you. I've also had all these other segments, like Book of the Week and stuff, but I'm finding it really difficult to keep up with Book of the Week at the moment because reading takes a long time, and obviously I've kicked my other socials into another gear. So been doing a lot of research this week. I was down at the Railway Museum again, talking to Andrew down there in the archives and getting a whole bunch of images straight from them. I've probably got about 60, 70 images from the National Railway Museum, which obviously belong to them, and there's some really rare and really interesting images in there, but I'm going to keep them for next week because I haven't sorted them out yet. I haven't had a chance to go through what I've got and really sort of categorize it properly. I'm really interested in some things that people might not know about Port Adelaide. For example, the old Port Canal. A lot of people confuse the idea of a canal being dug up through the middle of Port Road with the canal that actually existed. In fact, if you go back through the history books, there's actually two places in the port that they've called the Port Canal for some reason, I don't know. And the candidate for what perhaps would have been the canal up Port Road was there where the Port Canal shopping centre is these days, and that's why it's called the Port Canal Shopping Centre. It had got nothing to do with Governor Hindmarsh's original idea of putting a canal up the middle of Port Road, which incidentally was a very short-lived idea because the railway came along. It was pretty dumb idea too, but before the railway came along, canals were the only idea they had. So, but it only lasted a year or two, and never actually happened. Was never planned to happen. It was just something that was mooted. Anyway, so here we are looking at Todd Street in Port Adelaide, and those of you familiar with Todd Street, you'll know now why it's a little bit wider than some of the other streets that go to the wharves down at the port. It's because it had a railway line down at the middle of it. I'm going to find my slideshow so I can hit the buttons. Right. And here are some of the old engines. This is an old, I think it's an F-class engine. I have to zoom in and see if there's an F on it. With all the engineers standing around it down at the original Port Dock railway yards. I think from an engineer, from a romantic perspective, the canal would have been really cool, but from an engineering perspective, it would have been an absolute nightmare in a place like Adelaide, with as little water as Adelaide has, to try and connect the Torrens with a canal. There would have been a whole bunch of locks and a whole bunch of other stuff. And compared to the idea of a railway line, once railways became the thing, the canal kind of would have been a really big waste of money. The canal would have been better with what's a fram? Canal would have been better with a fram. They did have trams down Port Road as well. Got some images in the collection coming up soon. There's also some steam engines on the tracks on Port Road, a little bit further down Port Road than people think. Some of these old images of the wharves in the mid-1800s. This is the Jervois Bridge, which was the original bridge across Port Reach, the upper Port Reaches. It's the extension of St Vincent Street. So you've got Harts Mill. We're actually looking west in this photo. So we're standing just across the road from where Hart's Mill is these days, looking west towards Glanville. These days the road bridge is just slightly to the left of the shot, and this bridge doesn't exist anymore, although the gantry, which controlled the rotating section of the bridge, this is a rotating bridge, which is interesting. This rotating bridge was removed when the line was put through Commercial Road Viaduct and over around through Ethelton and all of that stuff. This is an aerial view which illustrates, that's the word for it, swing bridge. And there's a couple of other swing bridges as well. So you've got Port Dock Station there, you've got the flour mill. If you look just a bit further to the top of the photo, to the left is the engine sheds and the yards. To the left, sorry, is the goods shed that still remains today. And then you see the line heading off towards Adelaide in the top there. But I've always been intrigued by the industry that was around the Port Dock yard as well. Some of this stuff lasted until the 90s, believe it or not. The stuff down at Glanville, like the sugar refining factory and whatnot, lasted until, the mid-90s. And I just never sort of, I guess I wasn't really interested in trains at that stage. Here's the old Ethelton station. I found this on a completely different search, looking for roadworks. This is the old Colonial Sugar Refining Company, the old CSR Sugar Factory, which was down at Glanville, so we're probably on the western side of the Port River here. Sort of where, what do they call it these days down there? Something Keys, down at Port Adelaide, where all the fancy new apartment buildings are. That's the area that we're looking at now. This was a radium processing facility in Dry Creek, a little bit further up the road. But sometimes when I'm searching, I was interested in this one, and it's given me some ideas to maybe go and have a look and find more details on a radium processing plant that was in Dry Creek at one point. That might link me to the Radium Hill and the Port Pirie uranium processing plant. I don't know, there might be some links there. So we'll look at that. Yeah, could have been the wrong key. I'm not sure what 2 view die means, but anyway, welcome aboard. That's we'll go to, again, this is another mill down at the Port Dock station yards. So from what I can tell, over time there was Dunn's Flour Mill in the area, there was Victory Flour Mill in the area. So it's going to be, I'm still trying to unpick things. I'm still in a I'm in a discovery phase at the moment where I know I don't know everything, so I'm really just trying to find out. This is so interesting to me, though, because I've been a local to the area all my life. I've been hanging around here for decades, and only now I'm starting to delve right back into the history of it and see what was there before. This is Elder Road, so we're over on the peninsula now, over near the fuel terminals, in between the fuel terminals and Adelaide Brighton Cement. And again, I just need to go a little bit further into this. I do have a script on the port lines at the moment, and I start with a broad script and sort of a plan for how things are going to go, and then I start to organise it into scenes, and then I write everything up, and then I highlight all the stuff that I need more information on in yellow. And right now most of the 3,000 word document is still in yellow, so we're just working through things at the moment as I get the images and I get the maps, and I've got access to some awesome maps as well, which are really quite eye-opening. This is Semaphore Road back in the day, and this is the railway station at Exeter, just across the Port River, before you get to Semaphore. If you're wondering why Semaphore Road is so wide, it's because the railway ran down the middle of it until reasonably recently. They sell radium in corner stores. I'll have to go get some. I must admit, I again was just interested in in the words there, and I haven't fully chased that little thread down yet. This is the... which one's this one? I think this is the Fisher swing bridge. This is another swing bridge that existed. Essentially, we're sort of looking at, I think, Todd Street on the right there, and then we're looking at a bridge going over the reach of the river. That is the river as it is outside the Colac Hotel. Again, if you know Port Adelaide, sorry if you don't, it's hard for me to explain, but this is the reach of the river with all the docks there, down by where the railway starts to cross the bridge. At one point, that was a lot smaller, and there was actually a bridge across the neck of it. This is another view of that bridge, and we're looking back out towards the Port River as a wider river, and there was rails over that to the other side. Again, I'm still discovering things, but you're finding, obviously, the port didn't have any wharves to begin with, and they built some wharves, and they built some extra reaches, and did a lot of dredging and whatnot to create the docks, and these docks grew and grew and grew over the years. Oh, the sign down at Ethelton. Yeah, that's a really interesting sign, isn't it, John? Well, let's go back in time. Let's zoom in on that one if we can. Actually, no, I don't want to stuff it up. I think everyone can see it. Yeah, and then it's got Bronson's. There's the brand name of something there. It's got a weird eye in the middle of it. Yeah, that did strike my eye, actually. I wonder what... does anyone know what it means? Right now, the scope of this Port River, or the web of railway lines around Port River, which is a small geographical location, the scope of it is becoming mildly intimidating. The scope will eventually stop growing, and I'll get it under control, but right now it hasn't stopped growing. The old Glanville station. Again, still a very big station, but very dead these days. I've been collecting some aerial shots. This is the site of Ethelton Station these days, looking straight down. So again, this is where the I can't remember what they're called, something Keys, Pacific Keys or whatever, all those brand spanking new high rises. It was a dirty industrial area back in the day. Roughly the same place, again looking down from an aerial image, and as you all know, when I put it into a video, I'll qualify it with words and titles and stuff. But it's a little difficult when you're still sort of dealing with 120 photos on a live stream. I'm not going to get much return on all the work I'd put into it. Another view of Glanville Station, which is really interesting. This is a more popular photo of just how busy Port Dock Railway Yard was back in the day, and that shed there with the AM on it on the right is still there. And if you go down there, it's still got Amscol painted on it. This is the ICI factory, which is an interesting set of ruins. Have you and Drew ever been out exploring out on the Lefevre Peninsula, Heather? The ICI factory, the giant old chemical factory out there. Got a lot of railway lines through there. Don't go for returns. I'm not sure what you mean. But, that might lead me into a segue on that. We'll do a few more photos on this one, and then I'll transition out of that, and I'll talk a little bit about Facebook and stuff. Yeah, that would have been cool, Kingsley. I was still here too when you could drive your car down to Port Adelaide, drive onto the True Bridge, and go down to Kangaroo Island from Adelaide. This is another view of the Jervois Bridge back in the day, the Jervois Swing Bridge. Thank you, sir. Got some interesting images of Largs Jetty. Both Largs and Semaphore Jetty both had railways to the end of them. Initially, the anchorage at Semaphore was where passengers would arrive in Adelaide for a few years, and then for many years cargo and mail trains ran out onto the end of Lark's Bay Jetty to pick up Adelaide's mail, South Australia's mail probably, for what it's worth. This is a scene of them loading wheat at the port, and again the metadata will have all the details, maybe even the ship and all that kind of stuff. But again, when I want to talk about how busy the wharves were, and particularly the old days of bagged wheat, this is a very apt image for that. Looking east across the river now at what is now the big docks, the ones that are still running, Flinders Port's docks. There was a power station for the tramways over there and a bunch of other stuff. Seen this in an earlier video where I did the Adelaide to Port Adelaide railway line, and this is one of the first maps of the port before anything really happened. And so this is the original private road that was going to be built through Alberton to McLaren Wharf. So you can see the twists and turns of the Port River there mirror essentially what we have today, and where the words Newport is essentially where Port Adelaide is today. That little creek below that is Tam O'Shanter Creek, which got turned into the Port Canal, and dry land didn't begin. It was all swamp until you got to Alberton, basically. Yeah, I know, Ree. Brutal stuff. And I was down at the Railway Museum too, talking the other day about the lay of the land and how things were back in the old days of the old port yard. And they uncovered an old locomotive ash pit, which was, even since then, another 6 metres underground. So Port Adelaide is not natural. Port Adelaide is very built up. It's several metres above the land that it used to be. I haven't visited the quarantine station yet. O'Malley, one of these days it might be on my list. Look, there may even be some rails for some reason out there. That might get me out there. This is McLaren Wharf. McLaren Wharf became the main wharf, and this is where the old fishermen's markets used to be, and this is where they were building the tracks onto that. This again is an image where we're talking about the building of the McLaren Wharf, and so on the left side of the shot there, what you're seeing is they're actually extending the wharf further out into the river. So the original wharf, the blokes are standing on there, and there's the rails going back and forth. And then what they would do would build, I think they're called caissons or caissons. Maybe I'm definitely going to pronounce that wrong. CAISSONS. They would wall off the river, pump all the water out, and then put dirt back in and create a whole new wharf wall several metres out from where the original one was. And that kind of happened a lot progressively over time. Wharves grew out further, docks were deepened, dredged out, made bigger, to get us to where we are today. So this is interesting because that's Harts Mill, I think, or what is Harts Mill down the other end there. And North Parade these days kind of snakes in between a car park and the old fisherman's wharf, and then a major new high-rise somewhere down the end of that street there would be probably where the road today leads to the Birkenhead Bridge. And look at all these balconies along here. None of those balconies, it's interesting. I'm going to have to go and try to figure out how many of these buildings still exist and what's changed. But that's where the scope creep comes in. Am I making a video about railways, or am I making a video about balconies? If you go back to the establishment of the port, all you have is drawings. So This would go back to like the 1830s or something like that, and where this is a painting looking from the other side of the river directly down Commercial Road. What I think's really cool about this image is it's got the ships there. Those buildings on the right there would likely be the council buildings, and they'd likely still be there. And then you have steps down into the water right in the center of the image there, where people would head down, and a couple of them are getting on a boat there by the look of it if you look closely, and they're rowing their little boats around. And before this, all of that area that is filled in between those two buildings was another creek that essentially headed up the center of Commercial Road on settlement. So it's not prison bars, it's really wharf pylons, okay? And I won't hear anybody say anything about Port Adelaide fence. Because it's a tough life. This image I'm still trying to work out. It purports to be an image of the old Port Canal, but I'm still trying to work on it. It talks about Dunn's Mill being down in the left there, so again I have to do a bit of thinking and looking and sort of, you know, planning everything to kind of position exactly where this image is. But it could be one of the few images. It's really difficult to actually find images of this Port Canal. There's one of the images of it. So this is essentially where all those new houses, they look kind of new, but they were built in the 80s, behind the Port Canal shopping centre, you know, the one with Kmart, and then you've got all those other buildings out the front of it and stuff like that. That canal actually came up all the way up to Commercial Road, almost to Commercial Road, and it was there until the 70s or 80s, right off the top of my head. And so all those offices and stuff just down on the riverside of Commercial Road Station and the viaduct, essentially the viaduct, and maybe an easy way to describe it is the viaduct heads out towards Glanville, just to the left of this image. Caissons, that could be it. Yeah, you know, steel walls basically to keep the water out. This is another one that's evocative of how loading went down at the port. Here's a map. Here we go. Again, I would have the provenance of this map, but I would have to be a bit old man stares at screen. So here's the familiar sort of way of the port. And this image I'm going to use to describe again how things expanded over time. And you can see down in the bottom of the image there, that Port Canal literally extending out to Commercial Road. And that's just always been really interesting to me. Such a massive body of water just gets filled in and turned into a housing development. All right, well, we're just about at the end of that one. We're at 37 images now, and I'm going to save some of the more exciting ones. We're going to go into... we're going to come more into the future in next week's. So the advantage of having access to the National Railway Museum's collection is I get access to images that are still in copyright. They've had the copyright assigned to the NRM, and I can get the NRM to assign the copyright to me. So we can look at images from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and bring the story further forward to today, which is what I love to do. Did I have anything else planned? No, I didn't have anything else planned. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the 5-minute warning, and I'm going to talk about, extol the virtues of YouTube for a minute. So what do I do now? I hit this button. There we go. Oh, that didn't work. I was supposed to do that. I got that's all, folks, again. Go away. Where do we go? Yeah, no, that's what I wanted. That's all, folks. Okay, so also head over and follow me on Facebook now. I'm really leaning into that. I've had a love hate relationship with Facebook for many years because I used it for work and because I used it as part of my professional portfolio. I kind of kept a lid on the outdoors type side of things. But a couple of weeks ago, I decided to take the gloves off and just completely change the paradigm in the way I looked at my Facebook page and my Instagram page. And not so much a professional portfolio, but just go for gold in terms of being a backup channel to my YouTube channel where I can do things a little bit differently. Yeah, good on you. Oh, thank you. You're always reminding me of these details. Where we go? There we go. And I'll just put that in there. Yeah, I've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship with Facebook. Facebook's audience, to me, has always been a whole lot different. And Facebook has changed a lot over the years as well. And what I was really concerned about was maintaining context, and it's something called context collapse, right, where social media, particularly the way it's supercharged now with AI and just all the dumb stuff that goes on Facebook. Vimeo, I don't think will make me enough money. It's really difficult to get to build and maintain traction on one channel, let alone two channels. Now, if I had a couple of people working for Outdoors Type, we'd go hard. And I've worked in those kind of teams before, right? For Snowies, did a bit of work with contractors and stuff for Quest, and with Walking SA. So, you know, I'm well versed, right, in the way Facebook goes. So I've had a bit of a I want to keep things sort of professionally separate. And context collapse is the term for basically when your multiple audiences get flattened into a separate context. And Facebook is an absolute expert at it. Case in point would be now the fact that, I'm changing my channel to be more reflective of what I'm doing there. But the comments on Facebook, a reflection on that might be that the reels that I put out with Slim Dusty's music on it are more popular because of Slim Dusty's music, right? That's not the context of my channel at all. My channel isn't a Slim Dusty Appreciation Society, right? There's this complete collapse of context, and so people are coming in and commenting often. You get this certain percentage of comments which are about something else entirely, and you're reaching audiences that may not necessarily don't have any kind of connection with your subject, and so you end up with different audiences in the same space, and I think sometimes that leads to some of the issues that happen on Facebook. No, please comment on all the posts, and I can touch on that too, because meaningful engagement is really important. Right, people who understand what the channel is about, and people who support what the channel is about, and who understand the context of it, and that's the hardest work. But context collapse has been an industry, an academic term for a long time, and that's essentially what I've decided to do. I was trying to avoid it, but I wasn't able to grow my channel at the same time. So you've just got to go out there and give it a go, and that can lead to a lot of what's called uncharitable or unkind comments, when really at the end of the day they just don't understand the original context. And so yes, civility is broken, particularly on Facebook. It's sometimes a race for engagement, sometimes a race to perhaps prove you know a little bit more. A lot of people, a lot of pages, creators, whatever, will make comments that are more designed to get people to go to their page to have a look at stuff. And I'm not entirely sure why people would run into a Facebook post and then essentially shout at everybody how much more they know about the subject. I mean, dude, just like the post, like start your own Facebook page, seriously. Thanks, Jason Palmer. Welcome aboard. You'll get the context because we're linking things together here, bro. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff about it that some days, I don't know about you, but I open up Facebook some days and I'm obviously doing a lot of engagement and a lot of research and a lot of looking at other pages, and sometimes just some of the threads, they feel like a parody of modern communication. They really do. People from vastly different audiences, vastly different spaces, places, headspaces, all commenting together on this thing. And I find sometimes, so you're exactly right there too. Just hit the thumbs up button. That will go so much further than comments sometimes. I've even found people arguing with each other under some of my posts. Someone will post something and then someone will argue with that, and then they'll come back, and I'm like, hang on, how did this even happen? How did this reason for two strangers to be arguing even come about? And why is that okay? So I spent 3 years trying to figure Facebook out at university, and decided that by and large I'd use it professionally, and that's what I'm doing. So hopefully over on that page too, you'll see a different side to outdoors type. Obviously the YouTube is based on video, and I'll make my long form videos. I do prefer long form videos to shorts, but then I'll transfer that into images and into text for short and visually pleasing bites of information served through a different platform, which is kind of what Facebook is for. Facebook loves the images, multi-image posts, and so what I can do is just take screenshots effectively out of all the videos that I've made, and represent them differently in a different context. I can explore the subject a little bit differently because of the way Facebook works. So I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, let me know. Go over and check it out, and maybe give me a double thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. All right, cool. Well, that started as absolute chaos, and I've managed to make it an hour and a quarter into the stream. Thanks to everybody for your patience. Thanks to all of the members of the channel and all of the long-standing fans like O'Malley and Lyle Roberts. You guys have been around for ages. Steve Klink, you've been here since the beginning, man. Welcome aboard, Jason Palmer. And who else have we had on board tonight? We've had Drew, so hopefully you had a nice dinner, Drew, and you've got that all sorted. Kingsley, thank you for coming on board. Andy Munro from Munro Jumpers. Nico, thanks for coming on board. Ree, Bro, and all of you folks that are members, like JK, who's been helping me with the show from the very beginning. Dan and Amber, the Van Couple, and Archer. Hopefully you are 100 subscribers now. Zach, Smart as Marbles, Alco Pro, who's a member, History Hunter, Dan Under, Andrew Munro, and Andrew Top. Maybe they're the same person, I don't know. Phil W, Simon L, Michael O, Travis R. Come hither with Heather, the inspiration for this channel. You can blame Heather and Drew for making me do this 3 years ago. Noel, I mentioned you as well, and John Wayman, thank you for coming on board again, sir. Next week, I may even do this outside, because we're getting to the point where daylight savings is giving us enough light, and we'll have a look at some of the more recent images of the tracks around Port Adelaide from the National Railway Museum. So thanks for sticking with me this far, folks. I really do appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Until then, peace out. Let's see if I can get this bit right. Oh, hey Dave Mel, thanks for piping up. Hopefully you replayed, Luke.